Shabbat Shalom. People would find their seats. Good morning and welcome to Adith Emmanuel on this September 9th Saturday morning. We're delighted that you're here, whether you're here in person in our sanctuary or you're joining us through the blessing of technology. And we're also celebrating Ariel Loev being called to the Torah for the first time. So it might look like we are here on stage, and just to know who we are, I'm Amy Memes-Fuller, rabbi here at Adith Emmanuel, along with our cantorial leader, Sandy Messenger-Aguilar, along with our song leader and expert guitar player, Lucas Bennett, to lead you. But we're not, like I said, it's not a stage. We're all one congregation, and so we hope that you will participate as I read and Sandy reads, or as Ariel leads us and we respond, or if you see me especially singing, that's a time for you to join in as well. When God was giving the Torah to the Israelites at Mount Sinai, God spoke to Moses saying, "Speak to the Israelites and say to them, be sure that your phones are turned to the off or silent position." And so Moses said to the Israelites, "Be sure that your phones are turned to the off or silent position." And so the Israelites checked and double-checked, even if they thought they left their phones in the tent, to be sure that their phones were turned to the off or silent position. And God said, "Furthermore, during this holy and sacred occasion, there shall be no texting nor photography." And that's why we just don't know exactly what it looked like at Sinai today. Thank you. Seriously, if you do need to use your electronic devices, we ask that you please go into the foyer, and hopefully you will be able to return back to the sanctuary as soon as possible. So we begin our service this morning in song as we turn to page 128. Page 128. Our page numbers, as we announce them, will be the page numbers in the brackets, and you'll be using the thin Siddur. If you're in the first row, the book is under your seat. If you're in the second row or further back, they should be in the seats in front of you. And we'll be on page 128 in the brackets. Ma Yafeh Hayom.
Ma Yafeh Hayom, Shabbat Shalom. Ma Yafeh Hayom, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom.
We continue now on page 287 in the brackets. I invite you to read responsively with me. We give thanks to you, O God, for this Shabbat day, which unites us as a community of faith and hope. For the holiness of Shabbat, which can lead us to fulfill the best that is in us, we give thanks. For the memories of Shabbat, enriched by generations of our people who observed it, and from it drew courage to face hardship and light to banish darkness, we are grateful. We offer thanks for the peace of Shabbat, the day consecrated to family love. O God, our turning to you exalts our humanity. You are the joy of our life, the source of its greatness, its power, and its beauty. Help us, O God, to find inspiration for the coming week. Help us to find peace within ourselves and one another. As this time it is my pleasure to call to the bima Arthur Love and Scott and Alicia as they present the tali to Ariel, so come on over.
As I wrap myself in the tali, I fulfill the mitzvah of my Creator.
Let her say the blessing.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kishanu v'mitzvotav v'tzivanu l'hi atev batzitzi. Blessed are you, Adonai our God, sovereign of the universe, who hallows us with mitzvot, commanding us to wrap ourselves in the fringes.
Now you're becoming womanhood in the Jewish religion and looking down as Grandpa Greg Keyports and Grandma Iris Love. I just wanted to mention one other thing. This tallis that I'm wearing I was given on my bar mitzvah 76 years ago. So I kept it for you.
As we turn now in our prayer books to page 288.
May my life be one link in a chain of goodness. As I say the prayers of my ancestors, help me to recall their devotion, faithfulness, their joy and suffering, which are in every word. Holiness is my heritage, may I be worthy of it. May our tradition live in me and pass from me to generations I shall never know, enriched by the truth I have found and the good deeds I have done. So may I fulfill my task on earth and receive my blessings. And when the service ends and the prayers have ceased, help me to bring their spirit into the world in which I live. May I love God above all and my neighbor as myself, and be a living witness to the truth that never changes.
Page 290 in the brackets.
Ma tovu alecha Yaakov, mishkenotecha Yisrael. Ma tovu alecha Yaakov, mishkenotecha Yisrael. Ba'ani birov chasdika avo vetecha eshtaqave elechol kodshika be'yiratecha ma tovu Mishkenotecha Yisrael, Ma tovu alecha Yaakov, Mishkenotecha Yisrael.
On page 291. Blessed are you, Adonai our God, sovereign of the universe. With divine wisdom you have made our bodies, combining veins, arteries, and vital organs into a finely balanced network. Wondrous maker and sustainer of life, were one of them to fail, how well we are away. We would lack the strength to sustain life before you. Blessed are you, Adonai, source of our health and strength. Baruch atah Adonai, Rofecho basar umafli la'asot. We continue on page 293.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lasech v'ivina le'avkin bein yom uvein laila.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, pokeach ivrim.
Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, matir asurim.
Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, zokef kefufim.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, rokah haaretz al hamayim.
Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hamechin mitzadei gaber.
Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, malbish harumim.
Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, anoten le'ya'ef koach.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hamavir shena me'enai utnuma me'avapai.
Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, she'asani b'tselem Elohim.
Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, shesani bat chorim.
Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, she'asani Yisrael.
Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, ozer Yisrael b'hura.
Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, oter Yisrael b'tifara.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kishanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu la'asok b'divrei Torah. Blessed are you, Adonai our God, sovereign of the universe, who hallows us with mitzvot, commanding us to engage with words of Torah. Please turn to page 313 and rise for the call to worship. Baruch et Adonai Hamvarah, Baruch Adonai Hamvarah Leolam Va'ed. Praise Adonai, to whom praise is due forever. Praise be Adonai, to whom praise is due now and forever. The world is sunlight, restoring the soul, rejoicing the heart, bringing light to the eyes, more welcome than gold, a Torah from heaven. I have no light to give the morning, my Torah, my special human gift, is words. As I bring my words forth from silence, welcome them, you who redeemed the sun from darkness. Baruch atah Adonai Yotzer Hamarot. Please turn to page 317 and read responsively. O God, inspiration and guide for all, you have spoken in 1,000 tongues for us to hear in every land and every age. Your children have heard you and imagined you in separate ways, and yet, O God, you are one unifier of humanity.
We give thanks for the sages and teachers who bring us understanding of your will. Gratefully we recall the lawgivers and prophets, the psalmists and sages of Israel, and joyfully we remember that from the dawn of Israel's life we would turn to you and find purpose.
May the teachings of our ancestors live in our minds, and their passion for righteousness stir our hearts. Help us to live so that our daily conduct reveals the beauty and wisdom of your truth. Baruch atah Adonai haboher ba'amo Yisrael ba'ava. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kivot Melchuto Leolam Va'ed. Hear, O Yisrael, Adonai is our God, Adonai is one. Blessed is God's glorious majesty forever and ever. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kivot Melchuto Leolam Va'ed. Please be seated and turn to page 319. V'ya'afta Adonai Elohecha, b'kol levavecha, uv'kol nafshecha, uv'kol meodecha. V'hayu hadvarim ha'ele, asher Anochi mitzavecha, hayom al levavecha. V'shinantam levanecha, v'dibartam bam, b'fshitecha v'beitecha, uv'letecha v'aderech, u'shachbecha uv'kumecha, u'kshartam le'ot al yadecha, v'hayu v'tatafot be'einecha, u'ktavtam al mezuzot beitecha, v'visharecha, leman tiskeru, v'asiten et kol mitzvotai, v'haytem kedoshim me'elohechem. Ani Adonai Elohechem, asher hotzeitiechem me'eret Mitzrayim, v'hayot lachem le'Elohim. Ani Adonai Elohechem.
We continue on page 321 as we join together. Sing the song of men and women joined in understanding and respect, the song of God's miracles, an earth protected and cherished, a gift for our children and the generations to come, the song of a land once ravished by war, now quiet and content, her soldiers home to leave no more, the song of a world redeemed, the song of peace.
Yalalai. Yalalai, 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 Mika mocha ba'elim Adonai, Mika mocha nedar b'kodesh, Nora tehilot osei pele, Nora tehilot osei pele. Who is like you, Adonai? Who is like you? Adonai, who is like you? Adonai, yalalai, yalalai, yalalai,
On page 323 in the brackets, page 323, as we're able, we rise for tefillah.
Adonai sifatatita ufia gitehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei Avotenu Imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzhak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah. Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel חסדים טובים, וגונן הכל, וזוכר חסדיו לאמהות, ומעיד גדולה לבני מהם, למען שמו באהבה, מלך עוזר ושיע ומגן, ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם ועזרה שרה.
אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיי הכל אתה רב להושיע, מוריד אתה, מכלכל חיים בחסד, מחיי הכל ברחמים רבים, סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים. ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר, מי כמוך בעל גבורות ומדומה לך, מלך ממית ומחיה ומצמיח ישוע, ונאמן אתה להחיות הכל. ברוך אתה אדוני, מחיי הכל. נקדש את שמך בעולם, כשם שמקדישים אותו בשמם, ככתוב על יד נביאך, וקרא זה אל זה ואמר, קדוש, 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 אדוני צבאות, מלוך כל הארץ כבודו. אדיר אדירנו אדוני, אדוננו מתיר שמך בכל הארץ, ברוך כבוד אדוני ממקומו. אחד הוא אלוהינו, הוא אבינו מלכנו, הוא מושיענו והוא ישמיענו, ברחמיו לעיני כל חי. אני אדוני אלוהיך, ימלוך אדוני לעולם, אלוהי ציון, לדור ודור, הללויה. לדור ודור נכיר גודלך, ולנצח נצחים קדושתך נקדיש, ושבחך אלוהינו מפינו לא ימוש לעולם ועד. ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש.
May be seated as we continue on page 329. Page 329. Little faster.
ישמחו במלכותך שומרי 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 שבת, יקורי עונג שבת. ישמחו במלכותך שומרי 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 שבת, יקורי עונג שבת. מקדשי שבי שבת, כולם ישמעו ויתענגו מטובך שבת. ישמחו במלכותך שומרי 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 שבת, וקורא עונג שבת, והשביעי Shomrei, Shomrei, Shomrei Shabbat, B'korei Orek Shabbat. Zichi Limase Bereshit Shabbat. Zichi Limase Bereshit Shabbat. Yismechu el malekutecha, Shomrei, Shomrei, Shomrei Shabbat, B'korei Orek Shabbat.
As we continue on page 330, it's my pleasure to call to the Bima Brett and Melissa Keyports to lead us in this next reading.
On this Shabbat day, as you graciously receive our prayers, help us to hear your call. Grant us enough health to fulfill our duties and the compassion we need to attend to others.
Teach us humility that we may perceive our own faults, and grant us the wisdom to be forgiving of others. Give us the courage to be true to our highest selves and the charity to see the best in those around us.
Give us patience enough not to become discouraged, hope enough to overcome all fears for the future, and faith enough to know your presence. O source of blessing, look with favor upon us. May our offerings be acceptable to you.
And as we continue on page 332, at the bottom of the page, it's my pleasure to call to the Bima Mark and Tony Love.
For the expanding grandeur of creation, worlds known and unknown, galaxies beyond galaxies, filling us with awe and challenging our imaginations.
Modim Anachnu La.
For this fragile planet Earth, its times and tides, its sunsets and seasons.
Modim Anachnu La.
For the joy of human life, its wonders and surprises, its hopes and achievements.
Modim Anachnu La.
For human community, our common past and future hope, our oneness transcending all separation, our capacity to work for peace and justice in the midst of hostility and oppression.
Modim Anachnu La.
For high hopes and noble causes, for faith without fanaticism, for understanding of views not shared.
Modim Anachnu La.
For all who have labored and suffered for a fairer world, who have lived so that others might live in dignity and freedom.
Modim Anachnu La.
For human liberties and sacred rights, for opportunities to change and grow, to affirm and choose.
Modim Anachnu La.
We pray that we may live not by our fears, but by our hopes, not by our words, but by our deeds. Bless Adonai, Tov Shema Lechodot.
We continue on page 334 with Sim Shalom.
Sim Shalom.
continue our prayer now silently, whether we are led by the words on the pages of our Siddur through page 337, or other prayers throughout the prayer book, or those meditations and thoughts in our hearts.
עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו. יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל. יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו. יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל. יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל.
We turn now in our service to Seder Kriyat HaTorah, which means the order for the reading of the Torah, and so we turn in our prayer books to page 363. Page 363. It's my pleasure at this time to welcome to the Bima those who will be helping us by opening the Ark. That'll be Bonnie and Tom Dietrich, along with Arthur Love, Alicia, and Scott, who will be in just a little while passing the Torah down to Ariel. Assemble the people, men, women, and children, and the strangers in your cities to hear, to learn, to revere Adonai your God, to observe faithfully the words of this Torah, and let their children, who do not yet know it, hear, that they too may learn to revere Adonai your God. We rise.
כי מציון תצא תורה, דבר אדוני בירושלים. כי מציון תצא תורה, דבר אדוני בירושלים. ברוך שנתן תורה לעמו, תורה לעמו ישראל. ברוך שנתן תורה לעמו ישראל, בקדושתו
So, Ariel, the Torah scroll I'm holding in my hands is a special one that we keep in our ark because this Torah scroll was written by the community, written by Adith Emmanuel. And when the congregation was having a scribe write this Torah for us, and there are actually people who helped guide the scribe's hand as he wrote a word or a letter, we chose this size Torah, especially with B'nai Mitzvah in mind, so that as we pass this Torah scroll, Lador Vador, from generation to generation, for those who are standing physically in this line with you, and those who are here in this line through the gift of memory, we know that you could hold it physically, but also carry it in your hearts, because you are going to be the one responsible to teach the next generation. I think of, had there been one generation that said, we're not going to teach Torah to the next, we couldn't be standing here today. And so now I'm going to invite your parents and your grandfather to say a few words to you before we physically pass the Torah.
Whatever has befallen us, our people have remained steadfast and loyally to the Torah. It was carried in the arms of parents that their children may not be deprived of their birthright.
And now we pray that you, Ariel, may always be worthy of this inheritance. Take its teachings into your heart, and in turn pass it on to your children and those who come after you. May you be faithful Jew, searching for wisdom and truth, working for justice and peace.
Okay, say I got it. No. Okay.
Adonai הגדולה והגבורה והתפארת והנצח וההוד כי כה בשמיים ובארץ כי כה בשמיים ובארץ לך אדוני הממלכה והמתנשא לכל ראש.
May be seated. Our Torah portion for this Shabbat is a double portion called Nitzavim Vayelech, and Ariel is going to be reading from the beginning. You can follow along if you like in the large blue books, which are our Torah commentaries, which might be spread through the seats in front of you. And if you're following along, you can find it from Deuteronomy chapter 29, verse 9 and following, and on page 1537, 1537 in the Torah commentary book. And for our first aliyah, we call to the Torah Arthur Loev. Na la'amod Avraham mi Beit Yitzchak levarech al haTorah aliyah rishona. Come on this side. On this side. She's making everything.
Baruch Hu es Adonai HaBarach.
Baruch Adonai HaBarach le'olam va'ed.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher b'charbonu mikol amin v'nosan lonos toraso. Baruch atah Adonai nosein haTorah.
Amen.
Atem nitzavim hayom kulechem lifnei Adonai Elohechem rashechem shiftechem ziknehem v'shotedechem kol nis Yisrael tapechem nishechem v'gerecha asher v'kerev machanecha mechotev etzecha ad shoev memecha.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher nosan lonos Torah sames v'yeh olam netapas acheinu. Baruch atah Adonai nosein haTorah.
Amen. Yeshkoach. And for our next aliyah, we call up Ethan Love. Na la'amod Eitan Yehuda ben Shai levarech al haTorah aliyah shmi'ah.
Baruch Hu Adonai HaBarach.
Baruch Adonai HaBarach le'olam va'ed.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher b'charbanu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et torato. Baruch atah Adonai notein haTorah.
Amen.
Le'avrecha bivrit Adonai Elohecha uvalato asher Adonai Elohecha koret imcha hayom lema'an hakim itecha hayom lo le'am v'hu yehiyeh lecha le'elohim ha'asher dibar lach v'ka'asher nishba le'avtecha le'avraham litzecha u'Yaakov.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah emet v'chayei olam nata b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai notein haTorah.
Amen. And so we invite Ariel's parents, Alicia and Scott, to come to the bima. Na la'amod Shai Rachmiel mi Beit Avraham levarech al haTorah aliyah shlishit.
Baruch Hu Adonai HaBarach.
Baruch Adonai HaBarach le'olam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai HaBarach le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher b'charbanu mikol ha'amim v'natat lanu et torato. Baruch atah Adonai notein haTorah.
Amen.
V'lo itchem le'avdechem anochi koret et habrit hazot v'et ha'ala hazot ki et asher yishno ho imanu omed hayom lifnei Adonai Eloheinu, v'et asher inenu po imanu hayom.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu Torah emet b'chayei olam, natan b'tuchenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. And for our next aliyah, we call our bat mitzvah, Ariel, Loev. Nala amon, 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 bachara ha bat mitzvah, Ariel, Shoshana, bat Shai, Rachmiel, Elisha, Livarech ala Torah.
Baruch et Adonai Hamvarah.
Baruch Adonai Hambarach leolam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamvarach leolam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher baruch banu mikol ha'amim, v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Ki etem yiratem et asher yishbanu Beretz Mitzrayim v'et asher avarnu b'kerev hagorim asher avartem v'tiru et shikutzechem v'et gilulehem et v'evan ketzek v'zahav asher hamehem. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu Torah emet, v'hei olam nata b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Siman tovu, mazel tovu, mazel tov, siman tov, siman tovu, mazel tovu, mazel tov, siman tov, siman tovu, mazel tovu, mazel tov, siman tov. Yehelanu, part B. Yehelanu, Yehelanu, uleko Yisrael. Yehelanu, Yehelanu, uleko Yisrael. Beginning. Siman tovu, mazel tovu, mazel tov, siman tov, siman tovu, mazel tovu, mazel tov, siman tov, siman tovu, mazel tovu, mazel tov, siman tov. Yehelanu.
We turn our thoughts and prayers now to those who are in need of healing, and so we turn in our prayer books to page 371 in the middle of the page. If you're joining us through the blessing of technology, I would invite you to add the names of those whom you're thinking of who are in need of healing, whether it's a healing of mind or body or spirit. Share those names in the chat at this time. Those in the congregation will have a chance to offer other names as I share with you now those who are in need of healing in our extended Adith Emmanuel family. We send our blessings to Herb Rosenbluth, Nadav Emeneker, Mindy Fisher, Kayla Chana Bat Adan Leib Umasalea, Nick Ramsey, Marty Parada, Joyce Asbury, Barbara Savage, Marlene Gratchner, Sophia Gaia Siegel, Flora Hans, Sarah Gardner, Cindy DeRicio, Harry Greenberg, Freda Shapiro, Judy Fowler, Brian Zabel, Nick Bod, Deb Nielsen, Moshe Ben Elizabeth the Theodore, Rosalie Middleman, Jennifer Ness, George Goldstein, Harriet Eisner, Carla Teisch, Linda Drachman, Chaim Ben David, Eileen Davison, Craig Davison, Hugh Morton, Art Bond, Roberta Levine, Jordan Steinberg, Lisa Galda, Ed Crosby, Myra Kaplan, Jeff Schaefer, Marion Gwertz, Louis Alahut, Carol Schaefer, Mary Mednitsky, Jocelyn Jackson, Jen Jones, Michael Infanti, Gary Garnick, Ann Marsden, Rick Ulrich, Ileana Cohn, and others whose names we might add at this time to send them blessings of healings. If you have a name to add, I would invite you as you're able to rise in your place and say their name aloud as my hand passes through the congregation. Baruch atah Adonai, Rofei HaCholim. As we're able, we rise now and dress Torah. It's my pleasure to call to the bima to lift and dress Torah Ethan Love and Arthur Love.
וזאת התורה אשר שמשה לבני בני ישראל על פי אדוני ביד משה. הללו, 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 הללויה. Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. Kol anshama de'aleya, hallelujah, hallelujah. Kol anshama de'aleya, hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah.
At this time, Ariel is going to share with us some lessons that she's learned about the Torah and that we can learn in our lives today as she shares her Devar Torah.
Shabbat Shalom. A Torah portion this Shabbat, Nitzavim Va'ela, comes from the book in the Torah called Deuteronomy. The portion talks about the relationship with God through the comment of the law. Moses was talking to the Israelites about their commitment to God. He was speaking to everyone, not looking at who they were and what they did. Moses was saying you should only worship one God. As soon as you start worshiping false gods, you turn your back on your one true God and cause God to become angry and unable to forgive you. But if you give up the false gods and return to the eternal our God, he will welcome you back with love. His heart will open up to yours again and your children. The ancient message is Moses was trying to show the Israelites that you need to honor your commitment to God. Once you worship other gods like wood, stone, silver, or gold, you turn your back on the eternal your God and follow your own willful heart. This will anger God and cause his rage. In his rage, the destruction of land will happen, and all generations will see the effect of this. Like at Sodom and Gomorrah, cities fell due to God's rage. Even in his rage, he will open his heart again if you return to him and love him with your whole heart and soul. Similarly to the way the Israelites turned to idols back in the time of the Torah, today we find modern idols that lead us away from God and other things that are important. We need to make sure we are not distracted or focused on things that take us away from our commitment to God. We see that a lot today with social media and technology. It is easy to lose focus on what is really important. There are many distractions, especially for my generation. For example, many people, including myself, get distracted with social media, and that can cause them to not focus on things they need to get done. Like when I have homework, but I'm too busy on my phone to get it done. For my Mitzvah project, I have always loved animals, and I wanted to help the ones who didn't have a family. So I reached out to shelters to see what I could do to help and what they needed. Some things they used the most were old blankets and towels as bedding for the animals. I asked friends and family if they had anything they didn't want or could donate to collect as part of the donation. The shelter was very appreciative, and it made me really happy that I could help out animals that were struggling. In the future, I would still like to help out with shelters and volunteer. There are a lot of people I want to thank for helping me prepare for this. The first people I want to thank are Rabbi Memes Fuller and Cantor Sandy for helping me prepare for the speech and helping me learn my Torah verses. Next, I would like to thank my tutor Larry for helping me so much, and without his help, I would not be able to complete most of this. I also would like to thank my Pop-Pop for helping me practice and teaching me different things I needed to know. Next, my friends for always being there for me and always finding a way to make me smile. Also, my brothers Ethan and Jackson, because they can always make me laugh. And lastly, my parents for doing so much for me and always keeping me on track practicing. Shabbat Shalom.
So Ariel, I want to thank you for your lesson. I want to say Mazel Tov to your parents, your siblings, your grandfather and grandma, and all the aunts and uncles and everyone who's here, because it's really all our Mazel Tov. I really appreciated your lesson because I think it's one we can all learn from about getting caught up in what we might call modern day idols, right? Like the way we get caught up in social media, or we get on our phones too long, or we're on our computers too long. And it fills up our time, and we don't always leave time for what is really important. We forget about our priorities. A little after your Torah reading, a little later in the portion, there are some verses that are actually the same verses that we read for Yom Kippur morning. And they say, I call heaven and earth to witness against you this day. I have put before you life and death, blessing and curse. Choose life. And this verse has stuck with me for a long time in my life about choosing life. And there's a great story called The Rabbi and the Dove. There was a rabbi by the name of Baki, and Rabbi Baki was the wisest rabbi in all of Lithuania. And if you came to him with a question, he could answer it no matter what. And all his students adored him, except there was one, and this student, whose name was Tipesh, had trouble with Rabbi Baki. He thought, so supposedly this rabbi can answer every single question. I'm going to find a question for him that he can't answer. And so Tipesh found a way to get into Rabbi Baki's yeshiva. He entered, and the first few days he just sat quietly with the other students, listening to the teachers. And then after a few days, he raised his hand, and Rabbi Baki called on him and says, yes, and Tipesh says, I have a question, Rabbi. When Cain, I gave away the answer. Who with one blow annihilated 1/4 of all the people in the world? Who with one blow annihilated 1/4 of all the people in the world? And Rabbi Baki knew this answer. It was Cain, when there was only Adam and Eve and Cain and Abel, right? 1/4. And so Rabbi Baki was able to answer that question, and that just got Tipesh somewhat angry, but even more motivated. I'm going to find another question. And so Tipesh stayed away for a few days. He came back, he listened, and he finally raised his hand. He said, Rabbi Baki, I've been away for a while. I've been troubled by this question. Perhaps you can find the answer to it. Now, when Noah gathered all the animals on the ark, there was one creature that did not come aboard. Which one is that? Maybe somebody in the congregation knows today. When Noah gathered all the animals onto the ark, there was one creature that Noah didn't gather. Who do you think that might have been, Jackson? The fish! You are as smart as Rabbi Baki. And that's exactly what Rabbi Baki said. Well, the fish and all the sea creatures, why they were in the water, swimming right alongside of the ark, and they didn't go on the ark. Ooh, did that get Tipesh really, really angry? And so he stayed away for some more time, and he was trying to come up. He said, I have got to find a question that this rabbi and Jackson can't answer. And he thought about it. And he came back some days later. And he came back, and he had a bag. And he said, Rabbi Baki, I've been troubled by a puzzle. I decided that there's only one person wise enough to answer this puzzle. And Rabbi Baki said, as we've learned from our great teacher Solomon ibn Gabriel, a person is wise only while searching for wisdom. When that person thinks that they have found it, then they're a fool. So I know I'm still searching for wisdom. So Tipesh reached into the bag in a concealed way, and he put his hands behind his back, and he said, Rabbi Baki, I'm holding in my hand a dove. Can you tell me if it is alive or if it's dead? Now, Tipesh had a plan, because in his hands was a live dove. And if the rabbi said that the dove was alive, then he would just close his hands super tight, smother the bird, and then show him a dead bird. But if the rabbi said that it was a dead bird, he would simply release it, and the bird would fly out of his hands. So what could Rabbi Baki answer? And this is what he said. Right now, you are holding life in your hands. It's up to you whether that bird is alive or dead. Choose life. The answer to your puzzle is in your hands, not mine. Rabbi Baki was pretty wise. And that comes full circle to that verse from the Torah about choosing life and choosing blessing. Ariel, you are going to have many choices to make in life, as we all do. And not all your choices will be easy. Not all of them will have to do with life and death either. And so, what kinds of choices will you make each day? Hopefully, they will be the choices that put you on a path of greater blessing and choosing life. And I think this is a lesson not only for you as you become bat mitzvah, but really for all of us today. We have choices that we have before us each day. And as we make those choices, may we choose the ones that have us travel the path of more blessing, that travel the path that brings us life. Ariel, I hope you will make good choices throughout your life in relationship to your family, your friends, your teammates, your teachers and synagogue, choices that bring you that blessing and that life. And I think that you will, because you are that kind of person. One thing I love about your person, is that smile comes out so often. Yeah, it's creeping out now too. And I think that spreads the cheer, that spreads the blessing. So keep smiling. You are fun, you are funny, in addition to your other talents, being athletic, adventurous, and creative. And as Sandy and I like to say, we hope that you feel proud of yourself today, because, and I don't always speak for the both of us, but I can confidently say how proud we are today of you, as I imagine so many in this congregation are. And so now, as a way of giving blessing to you, we praise now God for the gift of life, for sustaining us all these years and enabling us to reach this very occasion, as we invite your brothers to come to the bima, Ethan and Jackson, to offer the blessing of Shehechianu. You got your copy.
Baruch atah Adonai
Eloheinu melech haolam shehekianu v'kiyimanu v'hagianu lazman hazeh.
Amen.
Blessed you are, Adonai our God, for keeping us alive, for taking care of us, and for allowing us to reach this special day of my sister's bat mitzvah.
Amen. And so I'm going to invite now, Ariel, you to come back onto the bima with your parents, as they're going to offer you a parent's blessing.
Our blessing for you.
Be interested in everything. Be curious, explore, adventurous, drink in everything. Have fun, but also be serious. Make a difference. Don't sit back and watch. Go for it. Take risks, be involved, help other people,
and help planet.
honor your Jewish heritage and traditions. Have a purpose in life. Let me say that again. Have a purpose in life. Your purpose gives you meaning to your life. May you pursue justice, be a blessing to others. May you feel passionate about social injustice in the world, and may you do your part in helping to repair the world. May you continue to study Torah and help shape you in a better person. May you love reading and read more books.
May you be
Not just smart, but become wise. May you look beyond the surface of things. Life is about choices. May you have courage and good judgment and make good choices in your life. Love you. You learn to read it.
We turn now in our prayer books to page 374. Page 374, as we are able, we rise as we return the Torah to the ark. Ariel, may God bless you and keep you.
Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'chonecha.
May God's radiance shine upon you and be gracious to you.
Yisod Adonai panav elecha. Yasem lecha shalom. Shalom.
May God's presence be with you always and give you peace.
Yasem lecha shalom. Shalom. Shalom.
We remain standing as we turn now in our prayer books to page 586. 586 at the bottom of the page.
Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol, lateit gdula lioseh b'reshit, shelo asanu k'goyei ha'arasot, velo samanu k'mishpechot ha'adama, shelo sam chelkeinu kahem, v'gor aleinu k'chol hamonam, v'anachnu korim u'mishachavim u'modim, לפני מלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא, ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו
We remain standing now as we turn in our Siddur to pages 598 and 599. As our thoughts turn to those loved ones who are no longer with us, if you're joining us through the blessing of technology and have the name of someone who's died during this period of Shiva Shloshim in the past year or the yard site, please feel free to add their names to the chat. Those in the congregation will have an opportunity to add names after I share with you these names in our extended Adith Emmanuel family. Those whom death has recently taken from us during this period of Shloshim, we remember Gilbert Zuckerman, father of Alan Zuckerman and Paula, as well as those who died at this season in years past, whose yard sites we mark on this Shabbat. Max Cohen, Moshe Gamlieli, Murray Goldberg, Irv Horwitz, Bobby Israel, Louis Korth, Esther Paul, Barbara Pernaton, and close especially to the hearts of the Love family, we remember Iris Love, Gregory Keyports, Rita Calabrese, and other names we might add at this time. Zichronam Livracha. May their memories be for blessing as we continue with the words of Mourner's Kaddish on page 598. Yit Gadal v'yit Kadash Shemei Rabbah v'alma divrach Hirutei v'amlich malchutei v'chayechon uvyomechon u'chayei d'chol Beit Yisrael v'agala v'zman kari v'imru Amen. Yehei Shemei Rabbah Mavarach Leolam Omei Omaya Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitalev v'yitalal Shemei Dekudasha B'riyachu Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tush b'chata v'nechemata ta'amiram b'yalma v'imru Amen. Yehei Shlama Rabbah min Shemaya v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru Amen. Oseh shalom b'mramav, hu yaseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, v'imru Amen. May the source of peace send peace to all who mourn, and comfort to all who are bereaved. And let us say, Amen. May be seated. And so, Ariel, I'd like you to come over for some more gifts on this occasion. So I have with me 3 items that come to you from Adath Emanuel's Board of Directors, our sisterhood, and our men's club. So I will explain what they are as I hand them to you. On the bottom, you'll find a book that's called On the Doorposts of Your House. In it has prayers that, what was that prayer I'm supposed to say on Rosh Hashanah, or how do I light the Hanukkah candles? It's in that book, and so I hope that you'll take it off your shelf and take it with you as you grow in life. Also, you have here a set of candlesticks and a Kiddush cup, so we hope that you will use them regularly on Shabbat and festivals, and when you do, may they remind you of the wonderfulness of this occasion. So, Mazel Tov. And you can put them on your seat as I'm going to invite your family to come back onto the bima as we turn now to our closing song, and you're all going to head over to the other lectern over there. And our closing song is Avenu Shalom Aleichem. You can find it in your prayer book on page 644 in the brackets.
Avenu Shalom Aleichem, Aleichem Avenu Shalom, Avenu Shalom Aleichem,
And before we begin with Kiddush and Motzi, just a little Hoda'ah announcement. If you're here with the Loev family, please feel free to join them in the social hall afterward. For everyone else, we welcome you to join us in the library if this is your first time here at Addith. And the library is down the hall and to your right. We continue now with Kiddush.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi le'en me'ah haaretz.
Amen. And Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat